Episode 47 of Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars show, podcast. You watch us, you listen to us. Either way, we're just happy to have this moment with you talking about a galaxy far, far away that we love. You know these guys on the panel with me, Jesse, David, and David, back with you. Been a couple of weeks. It's been a slow period. It's a slow period right now with Star Wars news. We know this because we're entering the holiday season. We don't have a movie. For the first time in 3 years, we don't have a Star Wars movie in December. Thank you, Bob Iger, for forcing Solo to be in May. It's okay. We'll talk about Bob later. He makes it up. He makes it up a couple times on the show today. But we have a lot to talk about, and that's the great thing is we kind of had a couple of news bursts in the last 24 hours, and so I don't want to wait. If that's okay, guys, I say we just dive in to Real Talk. Mm-hmm. All right, so Real Talk is the first segment of the show. Real Talk, whether you watch it on the big screen, the small screen, it's all good. Are you okay?
I'm stoked.
Oh, David's really excited.
I'm stoked.
We're talking about the new Cassian Andor live-action series that was just announced. StarWars.com breaking this news on Friday, and this came out of nowhere. Nobody thought this was going to happen, but it follows suit with something that we're seeing Disney do with the MCU. We will get to that in a second, but I do want to read what we have here from StarWars.com. Disney Chairman and CEO Bob Iger announces Friday that Lucasfilm is in development on a second Star Wars live-action series for Disney+, the new streaming service. We've known that name for a while, but here we just have Bob Iger on this call confirming the name of it, or I guess we should say in this statement. Originally, this announcement came from a business call. But the series will go into production next year, so 2019, follows the adventures of Rebel spy Cassian Andor in his formative years of the Rebellion and prior events to Rogue One. Diego Luna will be back to reprise the role of Andor, which makes total sense. Why would you fill him in? I don't think he has a busy schedule on IMBD, so I'm glad he's back in the helm. And we have a quote from Diego given to us. Going back to the Star Wars universe is very special for me. I have so many memories of the great work we did together and the relationships I made throughout that journey. We have a fantastic adventure ahead of us, and this is new, and it's in a new, exciting format, and it'll give us a chance to explore this character more deeply. Initial reaction, guys, because we were just blown away that we got The Mandalorian confirmed, and we were thinking, oh my goodness. This is a series. We're going to have multiple seasons, 10 episodes. Each episode might be an hour long. That's so much Star Wars content. And then out of nowhere, we get the second series announced. Jesse, let's start with you. Real quick, initial reaction to the news.
I'm excited for it because the biggest complaint that anybody's ever said about Rogue One is, we didn't get to know the characters well enough. So I think Cassian's a great point to kind of jump forward. Might be interesting to see some cameos too from maybe existing characters from.
I think you're absolutely right. And they also go on to describe this. It's a rousing spy thriller to explore tales filled of espionage and daring missions to restore hope to a galaxy in the grip of the ruthless empire. A release date for the series has not been set. Of course, we expect more information to come out as this develops. David, how do you react to this series? Because Cassian was one of those characters that I think that, while Jesse mentioned a lot of people didn't feel attached to, Cassian was one of those guys where it's like, I want to learn more about.
I want to see more of a K2SO, his robot. I want more robot.
Okay, all right.
Without a doubt. I think this is going to be really cool because when you first meet Cassian in the Rogue One movie, he kind of kills a guy in order for him to escape.
Right in the back.
So how do you become that person in the name of fighting for hope and freedom? Killing your ally to make an escape. How do you get there?
There was a guy on Twitter that made the joke, if he wants every episode to start with Cassian killing someone in the back. Just some random guy, like that being the ploy. Or maybe that's how the episodes could end, but I think that could be really funny. When we think about the fact that we're going to get and there's not a whole lot of details. Like, we don't know if this is going to be like multiple seasons, maybe it's a limited series. I'm kind of envisioning this being like what the MCU is getting with the Falcon and Winter Soldier limited series that they recently announced. You're also getting a Loki series with the MCU for Disney+. And so I'm thinking, this is an assumption. I think this is going to follow that same light. There could be maybe even another series down the road we get for Star Wars. But David, when you think about what this could look like, they describe espionage and spy. Do you think this could have a similar look to Rogue One? on the streaming service?
From a production value, absolutely, because we've seen left and right Disney just investing in the caliber of writers, caliber of directors, caliber of producers that they're bringing onto these Disney Plus shows. In terms of the feel of it, I don't think we're going to get John Williams to give us a score, and I know that's something that we've talked a lot about on the show. Is a lot of the culture of Star Wars comes from that music. So I think we're going to get a great Star Wars show. I worry about the music. I'm looking forward to it, hands down.
The look of it, spy thriller. It's going to be dark. That's my assumption. What do you think, Jesse?
Dark and gritty, 100%.
That's going to be fun.
And
It's
that's
going to
what
be
I
really
want.
fun. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but we know that the quality of the series will be high. ILM announcing a TV division. We'll break that down in about 10 to 15 minutes. We honestly might just talk about it next. What was that one point you wanted to make, David?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you keep waving your hand. I thought that was a signal that you wanted to say something.
I'm just really excited for the show.
You're so giddy.
I am.
I'm happy for you. Okay.
It's been a while since I've been this excited for something Star Wars related.
Person you want Cassian Andor to run into the most?
Director Krennic.
Okay, Jesse, who do you want to see? Well, wait. That's totally... Is that possible?
Probably not run into, but there could be like side stories where things happen over here. And
I was going to say, is Krennic really an Imperial baddie that has like the notoriety of like a Vader or a Tarkin?
I don't know if that would actually work thinking about it, because Krennic's in charge of one of the most top secret, construction projects of the Empire. So I don't know if they would run in, but
he
maybe
has other responsibilities besides the Death Star.
wiping out Geonosis, maybe.
I don't see Cassian going to Geonosis. But I'm going to still give you an A, though, because you mentioned K2SO earlier, and that'd be really fun.
Yeah, K2 would be a good.
There are some things that we've explored with Cassian in the comics that I hope they retread with this series. I think about when we got the Rogue One novelization. The biggest bomb in that book was the fact that Cassian comes from a family of separatists. Let's somehow explore that a little bit on screen. That could be really fun. Diego Luna going in as Cassian Andor, having an aside of what it was like for his family growing up on the separatist side of things, and why he feels like that's pushed him towards a rebellion. That could be really interesting. Jesse, who's the person that you want to see Cassian run into the most?
Saul Guerrero.
Gold. Now, do you think that we still get our Oscar award-winning actor to play Saw in this TV series?
I would think so. I think he was perfect for the role. So, I mean, we get kind of a teased with a kind of almost like a couple years younger version. Well, I mean, obviously a younger version of him when, Jin's a little girl. He, rescues her kind of thing.
And I think we have a really good chance with Forrest Whitaker coming back because he's lent his voice to Rebels. Mm-hmm. So he's come back to play in the Star Wars galaxy, so I don't think you'd have to twist him hard. And it seems like production on this, it's going to be full-scale movie quality.
Yeah,
so
I just think it'd be a great... Again, it kind of depends on the timeline, but...
See, I almost wonder if it depends on the format of the show.
Okay.
Are we going to get like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or we get 22 episodes and they break that down to 3 little pods? Mm-hmm. Are we going to get like the Marvel Netflix shows where they're going to be 10, 13 episodes long, where even there's some criticism that that's too long of a season to get a storyline where they stretch it out? I think if they kind of go in with like an 8 or 10 episode thing and they hit a storyline hard and that's the story for what that season is, I think you could bring back more high-profile people like Forrest Whitaker. But if they're going to drag something out to 22 episodes, like a lot of the Arrowverses, I don't think you're going to be able to have the story quality that's going to draw that high-caliber talent.
I dig it. What do you think? We want to know what you think about the new Cassian Andor series. Make sure you let us know down in the comments below. Next topic in Real Talk, Boba Fett movie would have focused on bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back, could still be made years from now. So a few weeks back, it was reported that Kathleen Kennedy told a reporter this thing was completely dead. Kathleen Kennedy, she actually hosted the Ryan Coogler, the Black Panther event, because they're trying to get it for Oscar nominations. And so they had this event, and Eric Weber is the journalist, and he tweeted this out. And he says that he confirmed with Kennedy that the Boba Fett movie is 100% dead. Quote, 100% dead with 100% focus on The Mandalorian, which will star a character donning Mandalorian armor like the kind made famous in The Empire Strikes Back by Boba Fett. Now, there is kind of a point of clarification. It's a technicality, right, Jesse? It's the fact that it's not really the project's dead. We're pretty sure it's dead, but the point is that Mandalorian is the focus of Lucasfilm right now.
Yeah, so obviously this went what last week before?
It was like a couple days ago.
All over, dead, it's dead. I mean, it was all over Twitter, Yahoo, you name it. But then the Boba Fett fan club, which is a very large, obviously fan club.
Are you a member of a Boba Fett fan club?
I could be. Anyway,
dear God,
we're googling this right now.
Anyway, they pointed out that this is actually potentially a misquote. That all Kennedy was expressing is that right now we are just focusing on the Mandalorian 100%. That has our full energy. Where it's not so much that it's not going to happen; it's just not going to happen right now.
It seems to me like the Star Wars story concept is just shelved. Let's just focus on one big property. Let's make sure we get it right. Let's get Episode 9, out in theaters, done it right, get done with it, and then go to this TV part. But
there is a Boba Fett fan
you
club.
do well. He wouldn't lie about it.
Wouldn't lie. This is hysterical.
I do want to know though, because you just want. If there's anything, you don't really think that this movie's going to happen in the near future, but you do want to see. You just want some kind of confirmation that Boba Fett did survive Return of the Jedi, right?
I want to see a Boba Fett movie, yeah. And even just that, for me, it's whether it's in a novel, a comic book, or even referenced in The Mandalorian. He doesn't even have to appear on screen in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But even just referenced in terms of, he's still out there kind of thing. I think that would just do an immense thing for the fandom.
Fan art, fan films, fan music, games, fan fiction, wallpaper downloads.
You got to be really careful about fan fiction.
Seasonal guides, apparel,
cooking,
books, medium. I haven't got that far.
Your Mandalorian cookbook,
message name generators. This is amazing. We're gonna post this in the Facebook group so everybody can see this.
All right, do it.
He's just flabbergasted that this is here.
So while he saves that, I don't know, David, you were mentioning something like you wanted this movie to be a biopic. That's
maybe. So here's my thoughts on this. I don't think I am okay with this movie being shelved.
Okay.
Because Boba Fett, I just said copying you. Boba Fett, I'm close enough for him to hit, is such a beloved character. He's such a cult character that I don't think we necessarily need to go delving into his past, into his adventures. I think that would potentially give the opportunity for Disney to do things we don't want them to do with this character. Mm-hmm. So I am perfectly fine with them shelving this project, giving us the Mandalorian, so we still give us something that's Boba Fett related, having cameos of Boba Fett maybe popping in and out, or references that everybody can be like, oh, look, they just said Boba Fett, or look at that, there he is in the background.
Like a bounty contract. Maybe he's, he's like a wanted bounty now himself or something like that.
It's kind of like how Disney won't do anything feature length with Mickey Mouse because he's such a beloved character, they can't screw that up. You yourself always like to complain about the last Star Wars movie, Rian Johnson's Last Jedi, because you wanted something more out of Luke Skywalker.
I'm such a bad person.
And you were disappointed. So if we get this Boba Fett movie, are you going to be disappointed if Disney does something with the storyline that you don't like? So I'm okay with them not touching this character and giving us something different that's in the spirit of Boba Fett.
My thing is, and I like everything that you just said, it just blows my mind. We've been talking about this project for so many years now. I mean, it's going on, 2.5, 3 years we've been talking about this? I mean, Josh Trank was supposed to come out on stage in Celebration London.
Yeah, last Celebration.
And they were supposed to bring him out and kind of show off, hey, we got some footage and stuff. But he never, did he even show up? Didn't he get sick or something? I can't even remember the scenario. But they put the kibosh on that plan right before. Would be kind of curious to see what Josh Trank could do. And I feel like we've had this conversation too, but it'd be cool to see what he did with the movie.
I could be wrong. I think at the last minute they decided to announce Solo instead.
That's right. Okay, so it wasn't London. Where was it in London in 2017?
Yeah, it may have been Celebration.
Yeah. Because that's right, because didn't they bring out the new Han, and he was like, and the crowd just was like, they didn't care.
I don't want to push my guesstimates too far. But I think it was one of those things where they decided that before Celebration that they weren't quite so satisfied. That's not what they were wanting.
Yeah, see, I keep thinking that we're actually talking about 2015. I think we're talking about 2015 because Alden Ehrenreich came out on stage and he's like, "Here's your new Han Solo," and everyone's like, "This guy's not Han Solo." But he actually ended up doing a great job with the movie, and I hope you got Solo on Blu-ray. I have not yet. I have seen it on the Blu-ray. I have watched the Beyond the Features. I just don't have my own Blu-ray to play with.
Is it worth buying a Blu-ray player?
I think so.
Is it worth buying a PS4 over a Blu-ray player?
You don't game enough. I would just buy a $40 Blu-ray player and be happy with it, but you also stream a lot, so I just like having the tangible thing, you know?
I had a buddy come up and spend the weekend with me, and he was making fun of me because we were watching DVDs on my PlayStation 2. Apparently, that's not the socially acceptable thing to do anymore.
Well, you know what? You won't be able to watch on your PlayStation 2 a Boba Fett movie because it's probably never going to happen. But I want you to comment down below and let us know what you think about Kathleen Kennedy's new commentary, or not official commentary, about this project. It seems that everything is on hold because we're going to make The Mandalorian as fantastic as possible. We want to know what you think. Let us know down in the comments below. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss to start on their first Star Wars film immediately after Game of Thrones ends. This comes from us with Entertainment Weekly. It's a very small update, but the involvement with Star Wars is kind of tied into this conversation they're having about the Game of Thrones series kind of wrapping up. It also revealed the two writers got some tips from Lucasfilm on how to keep spoilers for the 8th season of the show from leaking out. So the quote that we have here, Benioff and Weiss' next gig is writing a new Star Wars film, and they received final season secrecy tips from The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, producer Kathleen Kennedy. They've given us a lot of hints about how to lock things down, things that we never would have thought of or didn't know were possible. That is what Weiss says. And here's my first thoughts. We obviously know, because it's been said by Benioff and Weiss, that they are not going to ramp up their efforts on their Star Wars product until the end of Game of Thrones. We're going to get that story told, we're going to get it to the consumer, and then we will start on this journey. But David, I want to start with you on this. Tips from Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy on how to keep a secret, which they did. They definitely kept secrets from the fans until you saw the movie. But it's not like Benioff and Weiss have done a bad job with Game of Thrones and keeping secrecy there. They seem to have a reputation of really keeping the fans on the edge of their seats and throwing curveballs in the storyline. Do you think these two? I'm sure it was a kind gesture, but do you think it was really necessary?
Probably not, but if they got something out of it, then maybe it was a good conversation to have.
But it just seems so far-fetched. It's like these guys, the showrunners, their season 8 finale, do they really need further help keeping secrets, Jesse?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you guys are being like very tactful with your commentary.
I'm also an avid Game of Thrones fan, like books and show-wise. They don't need tips on that because they actually do really. If you don't read the books, they're keeping that story,
and
zipped.
Because of how they've done the TV series, that's why you are so excited about seeing what they do with the Star Wars world, right? I mean that show gives you all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, I'm very confident in their ability to form a world and characters.
To me, it's like there's no doubt in my mind these guys maybe have like a notebook, and they get an idea and they write it down. It's not like they haven't tried at all to start developing their Star Wars content, but it's just not going to ramp up. They're in the editing process right now. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse, but they don't even know when we're going to see these final episodes for Game of Thrones, right? It's never come out.
Don't quote me on it. I want to say the final season's supposed to either air April or summer.
Season 8?
Yeah, I think it's...
All right, well, David's going to look that up, but from what I read before the show is that they haven't been able to confirm when these episodes are actually going to hit air.
It's not confirmed, but it's looking to be April 2019.
Okay. Yeah, Game of Thrones traditionally has been your end of March, early April. That's kind of like their point of the year. They did have kind of like an oddball season where they started like midsummer.
So then we're really looking at 2020 not having a Star Wars movie, and then you're possibly looking at 2021 not having a Star Wars movie because they're not going to be finished with Game of Thrones until April of 2019. and then they're going to have to come up with the script and go through that whole process. So you're probably not seeing a Benioff and Weiss movie until 2022.
I would imagine probably at this point they're probably in post-production editing. So once that's finished, I mean...
So you think the moment they're done with the post-production and the episodes are just done, that's when they hit the ground running?
I think they'll probably maybe start working on things probably fall 2019.
I bet they've already started working on it.
There's some sort of ground layout probably already done, I think.
I can buy that. I for some reason believe that they're going to see it through until stuff hits air, but that makes no sense. That why would they just wait for the final series to hit HBO?
But I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, since it's the final season, there's probably going to be late night with Conan, like interviews, events that's going to kind of keep them kind of occupied and traveling for a while.
Do they do that though, or is that more the actors?
I think the actors, but I think since this is going to be the final season, they might have to actually.
And we don't know
appearance thing.
There really is not a whole. We don't know a whole lot about this series because there's just not much to report on it yet. I mean, we don't have directors. There really hasn't been a script formatted yet. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, they might have jotted down some notes, but they don't really have anything really tangible yet. So we don't know anything about directors. There's been no actors tagged with the project yet.
Are we even sure they're still going to do a film and not a TV series for the streaming service?
It has. From the very beginning, it's been a series of films reported for theatrical release. So we have that. I want to know what's going on with the Rian Johnson movies, too. And that's a separate topic for another day. But it's like, we haven't heard anything about him. He just finished up this horror movie that he's been working on. So it looks like at least 2020 and 2019, we're not going to have... Well, 2019 we will. But 2020, 2021, you're not going to have a Star Wars movie. And it kind of seems like maybe we're going to be going every other year for a theatrical release, which is fine because we waited 10 years in between almost both trilogies. So we'll take it. What do you think, though? We want to know what you think about this news that Benioff and Weiss, they know when they're going to start on this movie. They're going to start when they're done with Game of Thrones. We're not quite sure when they'll consider themselves done with Game of Thrones, but nonetheless, does this excite you to learn more and more information about this? Again, Benioff and Weiss movies, that's where you're going to be entertained in the theater. Streaming service, The Mandalorian, and now this Cassian Andor series. You have on TV, cable, Star Wars Resistance, which is gaining traction with the younger demographic, and that's the whole point of that show. And then, of course, comics and all that fun stuff. We'll talk about that in just a couple minutes in Pages, Pixels, and Pieces. But make sure you let us know down in the comments below what you're thinking. Industrial Light and Magic launches new TV division projects to include The Mandalorian. So this kind of seems common sense. Maybe a lot of us made the assumption that this was already in existence, that ILM would create this TV division to maintain the standard in Star Wars storytelling. What we're told here is the division will be based out of ILM's new 47,000 square foot London studio and will be supported by several global locations, San Francisco, Vancouver, Singapore, just to name a few. The TV team for ILM will be led by visual effects supervisors Hayden Jones, Jonathan Privet, alongside with executive producers Louise Hussey and Stefan Drury. This is what Jones had to say about the new TV division. We are extremely excited to be reigniting ILM's involvement in this market and to showcase the team's expertise, unrivaled technology, and production management globally. The television and streaming segments have grown exponentially in recent years, and we are seeing substantial demand for high-caliber visual effects that can be delivered on schedule and within budget, all of which will lie at the core of our team's expertise and proven track record. The budget for these Star Wars products on the streaming service will compare with a lot of mainstream theatrical film releases. There's no doubt about that. We've already known that the Mandalorian has got more than $100 million budget. So that's not surprising to hear him make that comment. But yeah, you got to make these visual effects and you got to fit it on schedule. You can't do that unless you have a whole department tasked with your product. Let's just start here. What other projects could we see this department, this division, take on? David, let's start with you.
Have you ever looked at the credits for Industrial Light and Magic? They are massive with projects from Lucas and Spielberg. Everything from Jim Carrey's The Mask comedy movies to the Star Wars ones to Mighty Joe Young in the 90s.
Did you
with
mention
The
Indiana
Perfect Storm.
Jones?
I don't think I have yet.
But Indiana, I mean, I'm
Indiana Jones,
yeah.
all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, animation stuff like Rango, Bumblebee's the one they're working on right now with a couple of the other Marvel stuff and a couple Disney projects like Aladdin. They just, holy cow, they have a whole lot on their resume. If they're starting a television division, I mean, we might be living in the golden age of television right now. They could be doing, I mean, we've seen Netflix canceling or not renewing a lot of their Marvel shows. Maybe production's moving over to Industrial Light and Magic as opposed to Marvel, Netflix dealing with that. Maybe Disney's going to take back control and try to get a higher production value. There are so many projects that they could do. It's unfathomable to be what they could do.
Well, I think that's a good point
resources.
because like Netflix spent like $2 billion commissioning like original productions,
Yeah.
but that's $2 billion spread amongst like however many films they're doing. I mean, just this past, I think this year alone, they were supposed to do 80 unique movies for Netflix. So I'd be fine with those MCU series coming over to ILM and getting that kind of a treatment. Jesse, you've got to be pumped about this, though.
Oh, for sure. Because I mean, as David pointed out, ILM they've been involved. Like George Lucas founded that company and everything, and it has been involved. Probably, I want to say, over 90% of every movie that you've ever seen, kind of thing. Like that's how large they are. They're like everywhere.
I'm looking through this list, and it is mostly my DVD collection at home.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm see a screen. It's just like James Bond, Ninja Turtles, Jurassic Park, Ant-Man. Star Wars, Indiana Jones,
Paranormal Activity,
yeah,
007.
all across the board.
So is the benefit to the
Revenant.
fan here, Jesse, is the benefit just the fact that Lucasfilm and Disney is not cutting corners with bringing Star Wars to a streaming system?
I think this is important, especially if they're trying to give a quality product. The Mandalorian, for example, I mean, just what screenshots we have. I mean, just look at that character, and it's just like it's just screaming at ILM.
Oh my
across
gosh,
the
yeah.
board,
And then you get like, I don't know, it makes it's your return on your investment, right, David? I mean, it's the fact that whether you're paying $5 for this thing a month or if you're paying $20 a month, you're paying that fee to get top of the line entertainment. I mean, this is stuff that you'd usually be paying to go see in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that was a pretty concise answer. What do you think? Hopefully you have more to say about it than David did because, man, a few words. Let us know down below what excites you the most about learning this news that ILM will be taking care of special effects for The Mandalorian, for Cassian Andor's limited series on Disney+. Why does that excite you? We want to know. Let us know down in the comments below. Star Wars Resistance. We have new images and a clip from the upcoming episode. This is going to be on the 11th. Okay, Sunday, November the 11th. Episode Signal from Sector 6. The season so far has been, for me, slow with some action. Because and it doesn't bother me too much because like I know they're not trying to get me at 26, they're trying to get the kid at like 13, and so I think for my 13-year-old self, I think that this would be something that I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll have this pulled up in the background while I'm doing my homework. I think it's interesting characters. I think it's familiar voices, which is really nice. Guys that they brought over from Clone Wars and Rebels, so that's really cool, keeping it in the family. But what we have here is Poe coming back into the mix, which is nice. Haven't seen Poe since the series premiere. And I think, contrary to what David has hesitancy about Poe, I think the more you bring Poe into this, the more it will help the story because I feel like in the previous episode, they made a reference to Kylo Ren. Okay, so that triggered a lot of things. I'm interested in seeing how that event that's all the way over here in the galaxy, that's now impacting this story. That's pretty cool. We're getting Phasma. We're getting a couple other characters that we've read about in the First Order, so that's working for me.
I hope they do something good with Phasma. I'm just so disappointed.
I think you're going to get the opportunity. I want you to watch this series. I know time is a thing, and I know that you're just waiting for a series more targeting to you. But Phasma has made a couple pop-up appearances already, and an agent of intimidation, Still wanting to see, and I think this is what you're trying to say, is I want to see Phasma do something. I mean, when we saw her in Force Awakens, all right, order the troops to kill everybody.
She just stands there and looks pretty, or then fails.
That character needs to get gritty, and that's okay. But Jesse, I want to know what you're thinking about this series, because it just kind of seems like, like even when they're trying to push out the episode, they're talking about how you can watch this on the Disney Now app or Disney Channel VOD. It feels like this is a tool for training. We are training the next generation of Star Wars fans to get accustomed to going to a streaming platform or app to get our content. And I was wondering, what do you think about that? When we just get done talking about the investment that ILM has in the TV division, we have a second Star Wars series for streaming. It kind of seems like this is like training wheels for fans to get them going online.
100%, yeah. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where 13-year-old me would probably be all over this, where right now I'm just kind of taking a back seat. I think I'll probably wait till they finish the season out and then binge watch it to see how it all pans out.
I think that's what you do, and because I love the art, except for the character faces, but everything else is really cool. Like anytime the ship is flying, I'm like, this. If the character animation could be a little bit more, well, animation is the thing. If the art style could be a little bit more detailed, I'd be all over this, because any shot of Starkiller Base or any shot of ships in space, the base itself that they're all hanging out on, it looks incredibly gorgeous and really cool with that CG. Another, a different approach to CG that we've seen, and that's what made Clone Wars unique. That's what we saw Rebels be unique with.
I like this art better than Clone War and Rebels.
Why?
Both of those I still don't much care for, but I've grown to accept them simply because I've watched all of the episodes now.
Was it just too rigid for you?
I don't know. I can't think on it.
Kind of looked like claymation. Especially with the Rebels, I always kind of felt like I was looking at like a clay.
Didn't much care for it.
Nation. I want to see if there's anything though that we need to peg on this though. You haven't watched any episodes, and Jesse, you're just waiting to binge, right?
I watched the season premieres.
You did?
The 2 episodes.
Okay.
I've read the synopsises for the next ones. I figured I'd wait until closer to Christmas and then binge watch it all at once.
Well, I'm excited for this. Go ahead.
I don't think this is a series so far that's really capturing my attention, or it will. So instead of trying to follow it week by week, I figure I'll just know what's going on and then watch it all in one sitting.
I think it'll be like Rebels, right? We weren't into Rebels from the very beginning. It grew on us. And then when that season's found, we're like, okay, there's a potential here. And then season 2 comes out and takes our breath away.
The thing with Rebels is, the first episode came out. I watched it and I was really unsure. And then I watched the second episode of Rebels, and something hooked me. I am not really sure how to describe it. Something actually hooked me. Rebels.
Was it his Ezra's odd relationship with animals? And how he could make them do anything he wanted?
It's one of those things where that's another series I want to actually sit down and just kind of binge watch now. So
I would be more than happy to do that with you.
I don't know. It's just these first 2 episodes, it just hasn't done anything.
And that's okay. I mean, I don't want to take up more time, kind of like bashing it, because that's not what we're trying to do. But it's,
I'm unsure of it.
There's some uncertainty here. I would say keep giving it a chance. And I think I said this on the last episode. Here's a great chance for the family to get together and watch some Star Wars that isn't too deep, still has some good moral teachings going on, loyalty, responsibility. And these are kind of things that you learn through Star Wars, whether it's the first time you watch New Hope and, trying to be more than what you think you're supposed to be. There's some good storytelling there. It's just like a Diet Coke version of Star Wars, and that's okay. If you're watching The Resistance, we want to know what you think, though. So comment down below. Have you been watching Resistance? What are your thoughts so far after 5 episodes? Pages, Pixels, Pieces, the next segment of our show. This segment brought to you by the Fantasy Shop in Maplewood, Missouri. Proud to have our local comic book shop as our official sponsor. Comics, collectibles, toys, Magic the Gathering, and board games. The Fantasy Shop in St. Louis, proudly serving St. Louis since 1981. And we want to congratulate the Fantasy Shop because they have moved in and opened in their new location, and really excited to see. Haven't been able to go inside yet. I'm trying to go down to St. Louis next week and visit them and see the new shop. But the pictures that they have posted on Facebook are incredible. They took basically a Little Caesars and they converted it to this comic book shop, and you have no idea that cheap gross pizza was delivered out of there just like 5 months ago, because this place is bright and it's blue, the fancy shop colors, and they've always known how to display their stuff really well. It looks really sharp. Kind of reminds me of their South County location. But congratulations to you guys. They're just busting their butts down there. Whether, Dave Lee, the whole crew, you guys are the best. So thanks again for sponsoring our show in this segment. So comics going on right now, releases from this past week. We have Han Solo Imperial Cadet #1. This is one of, we had announced months ago there's going to be these slew of new comics. You're going to get Age of Republic, The Rebellion, and The Resistance. And it's going to be like 3 different eras that you're exploring. I'm most excited for The Republic because you're going to get Qui-Gon Jinn stories there, so that'll be really fun. But anyways, another part of this was Han Solo is going to get this new series, and it's called Imperial Cadet. I'm hoping that you actually get to see him be a Navy cadet, because that's the one thing that we didn't have in Solo. That was the one thing where I was like, how do you put Han Solo in the Naval Academy and not show him in the ship? That's just me. But I do want to point out, though, so the first issue came out back on the 7th, okay, November 7th. You have Robbie Thompson doing this. Leonard Kirk is the penciler, and David Nakayama is the cover artist. I have a lot of his covers in this closet behind me, so really excited to see what they do. Just haven't been able to get my hands on that yet.
So I've taken a look at it.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool.
Really?
The artwork isn't as detailed. I guess in some ways it's detailed.
Ooh, I don't know.
The artwork's hit or miss for me. The faces are still kind of weird, but I feel like that about most of the Star Wars comics.
Okay.
The first half of it is basically replaying the scene where they're in the hangar and Han and Kira get separated from each other.
Right.
And then it kind of flashes forward to when he's at the Naval Academy, looks out the window and sees, TIE fighters. And one of the stormtroopers says, well, that's the closest you're going to get to a TIE fighter. Han says, well, I thought we were here to train to be pilots. And he's like, well, that's if you survive basic training. And then the next half of the comic is his starting his hijinks. And, of course, Han has to get into trouble somehow because that's what Han does. And the very end, it just kind of pops up with him staring at a couple stormtroopers, kind of looking like this, like, I can explain. So
I thought that this was a IDW comic, but it is a Marvel comic, right?
Yes, definitely Marvel comic.
Okay, so and I have the description here of the episode, but I think that was a way better breakdown. So are you, based on what you've seen with this first issue, are you interested in reading issue #2?
I will read issue #2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a high compliment, because if you don't have him by the end of the first issue, he throws it away. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're a guy that usually just gets comics for the cover.
Yes.
So for you to even crack the cover open and actually read is impressive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my issue is the face that they use for Han does not look like Han Solo to me. It's like they take
Alden Ehrenreich and Harrison Ford and try and blend them together. Yeah, I was afraid of that. And they tried doing that in the Star Wars mainline back from 2015. Uh-huh. They tried to do that when they after they introduced Alden, because they were trying to like morph it, and it just looked terrible.
I mean, a lot of times it looks like Han, like Harrison Ford's head with Alden Ehrenreich's facial expressions, which just, I don't know, they don't match to me.
All right. Well, hey.
But I don't know. I'll pick up the second issue. We'll see where it goes.
That report has me a lot happier, honestly, than what I thought we were going to get.
I don't think I'm going to like this as much as Vader, but man, I just love that Vader comic.
Yeah, you're never going to beat Vader. Star Wars 56 also came out last week, and it's just what's going on after the arc of Hope Dies. So check that out. I'm happy with the new art on this. I know that Salvador LaRocca, he does great work, but I think it's good that he's away from this series now. You have Andrea Riccardi. She's doing a lot of the penciling now, so doing great work there. We're not going to talk about it, but we had a couple people reach out to us asking, what's the next novel coming out for Star Wars readers? It really has slowed down after Rogue One. Because when you had Rogue One, I felt like we had Tarkin a little while before that, but then you had you had Catalyst, and you had the Rogue One novelization. You had, I think Phasma came out later. I can't remember when it drastically slowed down.
Yeah,
because we got all these books that are up here. We got all this before The Last Jedi. Phasma might have actually came out after Last Jedi.
Well, you had kind of kicked things off with Aftermath. I think you had the first Thrawn novel. Ahsoka was in there. But yeah, right now, it really, I think Thrawn, the second Thrawn novel, was the most recent.
Yeah, so you got to get the gist. It's really slowed down. But what my eyes are on, and I think what all our eyes are on, this Master and Apprentice novel with Claudia Gray, next April, I believe, is when that's slated to drop, April of 2019. All we know is it's some adventure involving Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Some people aren't happy about going back and going into that origin story. I think it's great. I think anytime you can go back to the prequels and explore that, that's awesome. I just know that I have like 23 young reader Jedi Apprentice books that are probably going to get somehow. I mean, those have been retconned for 4 years already, but I don't know. I'm really excited about that. That's the one that I'm keeping my eyes on. There's another book, but it's not a true novel that's set to release, and that's coming out in June of next year. So if you want to know the names of that, I put the link on our Facebook page a couple days ago. Check that on out. Next, we want to talk about Legos, David. Are you excited to talk about Legos?
I'm very excited to talk about Legos.
So we now know, or we at least think we know, the next like 8, 6, 8, 7, whatever number it is, sets of the new Lego wave. Jesse, we're gonna buy probably none of these, but it's okay. We have 7, 5, 2, 3, 4, the 8T AP. Yeah, I don't think it's called AP7. It's the It's like a chicken walker. It's got 3 legs and it has a big cannon gun on top. We'll show images on the screen for the viewers. But you also have a droid gunship. That should be a regular size set. And then a lot of like small things, like a microfighter Naboo fighter, a Dewback versus droid escape pod microfighter set, a Junior's A-Wing, a Junior's TIE fighter, a Junior's X-Wing, which means like those sets are for like little kids, not for us. And I think it's funny that we get another X-Wing because we just got a medium-sized X-Wing a couple of months ago that does not look as great as this Poe Dameron fighter that I have right
I don't.
here.
You know, I still need to bring it down. It's actually.
Did you get the medium one?
I did get the new X-Wing.
And you like it?
I like it.
Oh, so I shouldn't talk trash on it.
You shouldn't talk trash.
But this is such a better detailed ship with the wing action and like the swoop factor.
Honestly, the wing action mechanism is a lot smoother on the new X-Wing, but placement-wise, I would have changed it elsewhere.
You know what?
On both ships.
They spent so much time developing a ship that Poe's just going to destroy again.
I know, right?
Whatever.
But yeah, that's because I've kind of gotten back into Lego, myself a little bit, and they've got.
Well, when you spend $200 on a US or UCS Slave One, yeah,
so amazing. By the way.
When I looked at the list, and I also didn't include, we're getting 2 battle packs, at least according to this list. And this was all leaked. So actually, I can't show you images. If I put up any images, let's put up images of like from the movie. Yeah. That's safe. Screenshots. I don't like getting Lego emails. I always thought growing up I'd like emails from Lego. Hey, David, we'd like you to come work for Lego in Denmark, and you can design the sets. But I actually got a copyright infringement one time from Lego, and that wasn't a fun email because they're like, hey, so like, you're just a small YouTube channel. You're trying to have fun. It's really cute and stuff, but you're actually doing something illegal, and we're going to can you if you do this again. So we won't do that again. Elite Praetorian Guard Battle Pack.
Looks dumb.
Whatever, dude.
Looks awful.
Okay, so
you can beef up because the last main wave for Last Jedi, you got the throne room, and I think it's too small of a set for the price point. I think they could have really beefed that thing up. But now you get this battle pack. You throw in like 2, 4 more. Now you have the full cast. Now you can have like a full diorama. That's dope.
My issue is like if you've got the set, the throne room set. So you've got that. You buy this. You're basically done. This isn't something where like if you're a mock builder kind of thing, you're not going to buy 6 of these because you don't need, like
if you're a mock
50 Praetorian guards.
Yeah, if you're a mock builder, you only need to buy like 1 or 3 of these.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe there's more. Well, no, I think at most we only see like 6 Praetorian guards, right, in the movie?
Yeah.
Something
So I mean, like battle packs are great if you're just kind of a big fan of like just having like maybe you don't want all like the play sets and you just like the figures. I think that's like it's a great buy.
A lot of people in the Lego community like to collect the figures, so this is a great. You buy 2 of these sets and put one on the wall.
Potentially, this is also Lego's way of maybe like because certain like Bricklink or sellers they'll buy like Cloud City and then they'll part out the set kind of thing. I think this is their way of maybe kind of slowing that down to keep them from
What do you mean by
buying.
part out?
Some Lego sellers, like if you go to like Brinklake.com, you can punch in like if I want the Luke Skywalker out of the new Cloud City set, but I don't want to spend $300 on Cloud City, I can spend $50 and get that Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
So like when I did, it's kind of similar. So like I have the Lego creator buildings, like the Parisian restaurant and the detective's office and that stuff. And I wanted some of like the Lego. They had like little baggies that you can collect like waves of just figures. And so instead of just buying 50 of these bags hoping to get the one figure that I want, I went on like Amazon and I bought the one I wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which in a way drives up demand. Like you're paying more because you don't want to take the time and the risk.
Right.
But so similar way.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never used Bricklink though. Have you?
No, I mean it's honestly if you're looking for older sets kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And we're not really mock builders. I mean, I've tried to
Yeah.
build mocks, but they've just been with the Legos that I've had in hand. I've never bought like, you know,
like, a
10
great way
pounds
is,
of Lego.
like, I could potentially get on there and like if I want this Republic gunship that David has on his shelf here, I can get on there and maybe get it cheaper than buying it brand new off of Amazon.
Okay, I'm going to get that table to lift in here a second because we have the next battle pack, the last battle pack here, 75226. This might get your desk lifted. Inferno Squad battle pack. That's right. I don't think we've had a Lego set based on a video game before. There's been like the Freemakers web series or whatever, the cartoon thing that we've had sets from. Has there been a video game influenced Lego set?
Well, you've got the Overwatch Legos that are coming. That's kind of like another like large scale one that's there. Lego Dimensions.
Well, no, I'm
Because
just talking
that-
about in Star Wars.
Oh, in
I'm just
Star
talking
Wars.
Star Wars specific sets.
Oh.
Like I never remember getting like I don't ever remember getting like a Battlefront battle pack. Well, no, there was a Battlefront
There
battle
was a
pack.
Battlefront
Okay,
one, yeah.
that's true. But this is cool because you're getting Ein Versio. You're getting that crew. You might get Sheev. That's dope. I'm all about that. Or Shiv, I mean.
Janina Galvancar, your Lego minifigure now.
He looks like Cad Bane. Well,
Okay.
you played Battlefront too.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, the blue guy.
Yep.
I think this is probably the one that excites me the most. And I like how they're integrating that more. I also think it's another way to keep Battlefront 2 more relevant. But again, we're getting more and more niche the further we go
Yeah.
down this. You know, you play the video game, now you're in the Lego. Well, the not as many people who get the Lego
If
set
you're
have the game.
still holding a grudge against Battlefront 2, I think it's marked down now a little bit. You should totally pick it up for the canonical storyline.
Oh, the campaign is baller.
And the
I don't
multiplayer
know why I
has
said
made some
baller.
strides for improvements. General Grievous was recent. Oh, yeah.
You're liking that. Steve Hyman, the guy who's responsible for our graphics, the guy that we've been trying to get on our show for months, the guy who does our Twitch streams. He loves the Grievous gameplay. You're digging it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't unlocked him yet, but he's like, I've seen him in the game. It's like, oh, I'm like,
You might
I'm
unlock
like 10,000 credits away.
How cool would it be to like, you know, like you're swinging the two sabers and then like you get the combo to where you unlock the other two arms?
That's one of his abilities is he sits there and
That's
like, has
awesome.
the frontal like where he starts slicing everything.
Hello there. Okay, so of all these sets that we've talked about, because we've skipped through, we like skimmed a lot of them because it's like the droid gunship has never looked good. The gunship, like the droid gunship to me was always like a lazy, it was a big ship that was actually considered a droid, which is ridiculous. I have the original ATAP, which is cool. It's like an ATST, but a third leg, so it's like a tripod. And then it has like a cannon on top. It's okay. You see it at the Battle of Kashyyyk and Revenge of the Sith. But nothing here so far excites me other than the two battle packs. If I'm being honest, the battle packs I'd probably pick
At
up
this
one each.
point, the Inferno Squad battle pack, that's pretty cool. I'll probably pick that up. I'm a little dismayed. Like I feel like we will get more Clone Wars related Lego sets.
We're at the 10th anniversary. And yeah, by no means
Yeah.
are we saying, we're not saying that this is the official list. We're not even saying this is the official list. This was a leak. We want to talk about it. We like
What's your-
Legos.
Like the ATAP looks cool, but like I'm not actually a big fan of Kashyyyk camo clones. I want to see like another like rendition of an AT-ATE.
I bought like 6 of those battle packs because I love them so much. But that's my thing. Hey, do you like Legos? Do you want to play with Legos? Do you want to buy Legos? Buy Legos for us?
Legos. I like to display them.
I display my Legos. Models. Let us know down in the comments what you think. He mentioned it, 10th anniversary of Clone Wars. What is the Clone Wars themed Lego set that you want to see released for 2019? Next segment of our show, Stashed or Blasted. This is kind of where we have like so much to talk about for a change, which is nice, that we just throw some topics in here and we kind of rapid fire through them. So, Ron Howard says he's open to returning to Star Wars. He did an interview with Metro, and he says that he'd be open to coming back to direct a future Star Wars project, but only if he feels like he'd be the right person to tell his story, and if the story itself was an interest to him. Well, I want to say it's a Solo 2 sequel, but that seems very unlikely. Jesse, real quick, what are your thoughts?
I would love for Ron to come back 100%. I think I'm on the same page with him. I don't think we're going to... Sadly, I don't think we'll see a Han Solo Part 2, which does kind of hurt because I did enjoy the Solo story. So,
especially with that cliffhanger at the end, you have a lot of room to go.
Ron is a very talented individual,
yep.
And I think he definitely has a place,
His daughter has a place right now in Star Wars storytelling. Bryce Dallas Howard, did I get that right? Yeah, I did. Bryce Dallas Howard, his daughter.
She's going to direct an episode of The Mandalorian.
Might also act in an episode of The Mandalorian. So does that maybe play in a role? I mean, I feel like the family is still quite tied to this galaxy.
Fatherly advice to his daughter about, this is what I learned while I directed Star Wars and picked up the pieces of Solo. I don't know. I'd stash this one. I'd love to see him come back, but I don't think we'll actually see him come back.
David stashes it?
I'll stash that.
I'm going to stash it too. I think he comes back, especially with all of this direct-to-streaming content that they're going to be creating. How could you not have him come in and do a couple episodes? Mandalorian. Oh, it makes so much more sense. In Season 1, you have Bryce Dallas. Why not have Ron come and do an episode in Season 2? Because you're getting a Season 2.
I'm cool if she directs, maybe a cameo. I just don't want dialogue. Nothing personal, but you have to have that separation.
He's also pretty busy. We got to keep that in mind. He does a lot of documentary work. Willow 2 is not happening. We're not quite sure.
That makes my heart sad a bit if it doesn't happen. I love Willow.
I like Willow. I don't know if Willow needs a sequel.
If it's done well, if it's properly done.
That's my issue.
Was Willow 1 done well?
Was it not?
Well, whether you have an opinion on a Willow sequel or thoughts on Ron Howard directing a Star Wars story again, let us know down in the comments below. We have an item that you could put on your shopping list for the upcoming holiday season. We have a Star Wars Season's Greetings collectible coin from New Zealand Mint, and it's 5 grams of silver. Someone sent this to us and thought it looked cool, and I'm going to blast it because I don't care to collect a Star Wars coin.
I would end up accidentally using it to buy a taco or something
and then they would reject it, and then you'd feel dumb. No?
I mean, you know how many times that I work in retail. You know how many times I see a Canadian penny and you're supposed to reject that?
5 grams of silver, though? I mean, that's more than...
I'm going to stash it because it comes with this really cool Christmas card with Darth Vader just kind of leaning up against something with a Christmas tree and some candles and stockings and a fireplace in the background. It just makes him seem like the father that Luke and Leia never had.
Okay. I'm blasting it. He's stashing it, and he's put an incredible backstory to this device. And Jesse, what did you decide? All right, so he's blasting it. Let us know what you can do down. Just let us know down in the comments below.
I know what I'm getting both of you for Christmas now.
Please don't. I don't want it. Adam Driver talks briefly and cryptically about Star Wars and Kylo Ren in an interview with Vulture. He was asked what is interesting about playing Kylo Ren, and he says, that's hard to say because we're working towards something particular with the character. I don't want to give anything away. Of course, he's talking about Episode 9, which we don't know the title of yet, but it is set to release in theaters December of 2019. How Driver... has handled his fame. Jesse, let's start with you. I don't think it's phased him at all.
I think he's handled it really well. I mean, he's a former Marine.
Right.
So, I mean...
Graduate of Juilliard.
I kind of feel that he's kind of got
Is he
that humble.
really?
Yeah, he's kind
Wow.
of got like a little bit of a humble, like upbringing thing. Just his personality, he seems just down to earth.
This doesn't really tell us much of anything, right? Like there's going to be some great. I'm sure there's going to be like the moment in episode 9. But it's interesting that he doesn't even want to describe his character right now because he feels like that could give away something going on in episode 9.
It's probably smart of him if he's contractually obligated not to say anything. He should probably just, stay silent.
Is there anything to take away from this, David, do you think?
No, I mean, I think he's handling it well. I don't think it's gone to his head like, fame does to some people.
Okay, I thought something also interesting in this article is they talk about Adam's intensity, and he doesn't take that seriously. He doesn't think he's intense. He just thinks the characters he plays is intense. All I know is, it's the first time we've had this reference. Adam Driver just really stays away from the media a lot, and so I think anytime you get a chance to sit him down and he gets to talk about anything, it kind of just becomes news because he does such a nice job of keeping the media out of it. So, anyways, I don't know. What do you think? Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, episode 9. Is he going to be good? Is he going to convert Rey? Is Rey going to convert him? Are they going to get married? Are they going to be related somehow?
I hope not.
That's going to be terrible. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be fun. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Oh, wait. First, blast or stash it. There's nothing really to blast or stash.
Right. Really, yeah, it's like
I'm stashing it.
stashing
I just think
stash it.
I think that Adam Driver's just a cool guy. All right. Last one for blast it or stash it. Stash it or blast it, I should say. John Williams recovering well from illness. I think he's here it is. The guy got sick, goes to the hospital, comes back, already back at work. So stash or blast it. John Williams, he just lives it forever.
I'm gonna stash it.
I just was about to take this drink and throw it at your face.
No, I feel like we've lost too many of the Star Wars family.
There was a story that just dropped. Scientists believe that the first person who will live to 150 years old has already been born. Okay, let's make it Johnny. Let's make it John Williams.
Well, gee,
It's
thanks.
probably not going to be me.
Or Sally Fields. You?
No.
You're lucky if you make it to 60.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you blast or stash it, John Williams? Lives forever.
Yeah, stash it.
Oh, I'm going to stash it too.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, his music will.
Yeah.
Legacy. It's a beautiful thing. Here we are. Star Wars Celebration 2019. We're going. We're excited to be going in April in Chicago, just about 4 hours away from where we are recording right now in this moment, okay? And so we're about 152 days away from Celebration kicking off. So what we thought we would do is we're going to check in. Between now and then, we're just going to check in and see what new things have been added to the website, because that's where we're going to learn things. And this kind of was all brought up because Rob Rideau, who is the executive creative director, yes, and head of ILM, he just got announced as the first official guest. So we'll dive into that in a second, but I just wanted to go through a couple of things that we know now. And then we'll start with panels. We only know the hosts, Amy Ratcliffe and Dave Collins. Dave Collins is a familiar face, and so is Amy Ratcliffe. She's pretty involved in the Star Wars Galaxy. She's freaking got her own book, so she's pretty cool. And Amy is someone that I think would be so fun to get on our show when we're ready to do host. I think that would be so fun to have her on because she just has a really positive passion about not just like storytelling, but just about the Star Wars fandom. She's kind of like an Ashley Eckstein. She never has a bad day, it seems. David Collins always does really good work. As I mentioned, indigestion, man, it's a problem when you turn 26. Rob Rideau, head of ILM, he is the first confirmed guest. He'll be there for panels. He'll be there for signings on his upcoming book, which goes behind the scenes of Solo, which I'm really excited about because I follow a few accounts on Twitter that love showing first renderings and first drawings, concept work for ships and character design. So much energy and passion into that movie, and oh my gosh, I need to find the art of Solo book really bad because I just love the schemes of that movie in general. But they're doing that. There's gonna be the live stage where they're gonna be streaming the panels, and they do that live show on StarWars.com. I don't know. I think we'd be hanging out there for quite some time. They also have this Galaxy stage that is also going to have some shows and maybe some interviews there. They're going to have, it says, catch conversations with the Masters, celebrity appearances, and another legendary Star Wars and other legendary Star Wars entertainment. I don't know, maybe saber fights. I don't know. I kind of want Hayden Christensen to be over there on the Galaxy stage. He showed up last 2017, and that was like that was a reward for fans seeing him back in it, and gives me hope that he'll be involved with 2019. I don't know, guys. Between art show, the fan tables, collector stage, I think I know what Jesse's gonna be eyeing. There's a fan built props stage. I lost the word. I was going to say workshop, but it's just a stage. I don't know. That has to have you pretty pumped.
Yeah, I know for a fact, like the Mandalorian mercs, they get like a kind of like their own corner. They've got stuff they built there, like skiffs and speeders. And just in general, I'm excited for props cosplay. It's a great way to get ideas and inspirations. Maybe somebody attached, their armor one way that actually opens like a whole new realm of possibilities. So it's just.
You're going to bring your armor to Chicago, right?
I am hoping, definitely the armor. Obviously, once they maybe get like a schedule kind of thing, I don't know if I'm going to rock it the entire weekend because
it's heavy and sweaty.
It kinda gets heavy after
you start to
10
smell.
hours.
Yeah, and you can't sit really.
I can't really sit in
You get a little whiny.
So definitely planning on wearing it at least one day.
You should wear it all days.
I'm working on, you're going to hate, I know you hate this term, but I am working on my gray Jedi.
Oh, yeah. I don't believe in gray Jedi.
Yeah, Emelati doesn't believe in gray Jedis, but that's going to kind of be like I'm still in cosplay, but I can sit down and enjoy panels.
We mentioned Steve Hyman earlier. He has a pretty cool Jedi cosplay, and I love his hilt.
There's a picture of him and I from Wizard World
on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Hey, way to plug the Facebook page, buddy.
What is a gray Jedi?
Gray Jedi is like not a real Jedi.
Like Gandalf
Darth
the
Revan.
Gray right now.
Yeah, they're trying like what Ahsoka a lot of people think that Ahsoka is a gray Jedi.
Ahsoka would be a kind of a good.
But I don't like the term. You're either a Jedi or you're something else.
Nothing that we've seen on the canonical movies.
No, we haven't seen a gray Jedi.
Okay.
We've at least from our knowledge. Meaning there's so far gray Jedi is not a canon term.
Luke was very much brushing that.
Okay.
In Last Jedi.
Art show. I feel like this is where David and I are going to spend some time because we kind of started collecting art. We have some art here. We have an inappropriate artwork over there.
Do you have a drill I can borrow?
I do. Do you need to hang up your art?
Yeah.
You have a lot to hang up.
I do.
Okay. So art show, you want to do that together?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm down.
I'm really excited for the floor. I like looking through the toys. And even when you go to Wizard World events, I like going through the bins and finding toys from the early 2000s. The different eras of action figures. That's always a lot of fun for me.
We should do a short thing. You would have a heyday seeing some of my old figures.
Well, if you actually thought I was your friend and would invite me over to your house.
Show and tell. This will be fun.
Tell.
Bring it with you.
Should we start doing show and tells?
My show and tell would be very limited.
I think we could rotate it each week and
I have a Don Post 95 Darth Vader helmet.
Okay, well Jesse already wins the show and tell. I'm trying to figure out if we missed anything. The fan tables, I think that's where people can be social. There's going to be a podcast stage where 4 or 5 podcasts get chosen to do an episode from the thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we weren't chosen.
You'll see Collider. You might see Black Series Rebels there. A few others. I'll probably go by the collector stage too because that's the closest I'll get to some really cool items. I've held a set Luke Skywalker New Hope hilt before, lightsaber hilt. Actually held that prop. That was pretty cool. That guy who owns it kind of lives near here, so that's kind of fun. I don't know. What excites you the most from what we described here? This is what we know. This is the latest information that we have for Star Wars Celebration. What are you hoping to experience the most? Is there a collectible that you're trying to find? Is there an actor or actress you're hoping to meet? Is there a signature that you're trying to get? Are you trying to get memorabilia signed? Maybe your chest signed? I'm not that courageous, but maybe you are. Let us know down in the comments below. You want to get the helmet signed? No, that would take it away. That would take it away from it.
Would you then continue to wear it with somebody's autograph?
You can't wear it if you have the autograph on it.
I would probably actually get it signed on the inside of the helmet.
So nobody can see it.
Well, I would know it was there, just kind of for just hear me out. But it's kind of my excuse to get a new helmet.
Let us know what you think down in the comments below about Star Wars Celebration. Hope you like it. Hope I see you there. Hope we can be friends. I love you more. Final segment of the show, Fan Comlink. We have 3 tweets that we've selected. Really excited about this variety. It's just cool. We go away for a couple weeks and then you get people reaching out, which is fun. So Melly Jo tweets at Beyond the Blast Doors that she is really excited about Rogue One, the prequel series. She's talking about the Cassian Andor series. What are your feelings on that series? I think it will be good. And Melly Jo, we want to give a shout out to because she's a fan of our show. She actually is recovering from cancer. And so she's on the couch right now as we're recording this. And we were like, hey, send us make sure you tweet at us so that way we can give you some love on the episode. So here's us giving you some love, Melly Jo. Recover quick. And let's go ahead and just kind of, we talked about it early in the episode, but nothing to shy away from. We should be excited. Let's start it. David, tell me why you're so excited about this new Cassian Andor series.
My feelings are generally positive about it.
What are you concerned about?
Nothing. I really want to see K2SO. I want Alan Tudyk back as that snarky robot. I want that.
So you think Cassian for you is going to be a gateway to other opportunities that excites you more?
Yes, but I'm still looking forward to Cassian because I want to see how you become that guy who you shoot in order to run away and you call yourself a good guy.
I really like the idea that every episode ends or begins with him shooting someone from behind the back. Mm-hmm. I think that could be like a really good.
It's a great way to introduce a child to Star Wars.
I think it is. I think we shelter the kids too much, and death should be a constant theme in their upbringing. Jesse, what are the thoughts for Melly Jo's question here? She's really excited about Cassian Andor and that new series for the streaming service. What do you think?
Well, again, Rogue One was, it did actually meet some harsh criticism because we don't know enough about the character. And I'm like, so 100% yes, I'm excited for it. Cassian's a cool character. Obviously in Rogue One, he shoots somebody to make his escape. And that's a dark and gritty side of the rebellion that I want to see more. Like,
he really cares about it too because his voice cracked a little bit. And whenever a man reverts back to puberty, that is when he cares the most. Like when the
you try breathing in glitter 24/7 today. I'm gonna have glitter themioma before my next birthday.
He works at Hobby Lobby. It's not his fault. Okay, well, like I said, I think just kind of going back over. I'm pumped. Yeah. It gives us a lot of opportunity. What excites me? Maybe more new planets, more new characters, new stories, new ships, new guns, new weapons. New. And I don't feel like this is restricting the Star Wars galaxy from growing. Sometimes we talk about how if you go too narrowed in, it makes it feel smaller. Mm-hmm. I think this series can open up so much because there is so much that we don't know about the rebellion in its formative years. Mm-hmm. Lucas took out a lot of the formative stuff of the rebellion out of Revenge of the Sith. There were a couple of scenes where you see Padme and Bail Organa talking with other senators, trying to pull them into this third movement. So we don't want to be separatists. We want to be the rebellion. We want to be the good. And then we don't see anything until A New Hope. And then you get a little bit. You obviously get Rogue One.
Well, before all that, before the acquisition, you had The Force Unleashed.
But that's technically not canon anymore.
It used to be, and that's what's so...
Well, that you can't
do. Different topic, but that's
well,
the thing.
It used to be.
That's the thing is, they had something there that kind of built upon what was taken out of Revenge of the Sith, and now that's gone. So I do kind of feel like this is a void in the lore and the story that needs to be filled.
I guess I shouldn't ignore Rebels too. That's 4 seasons of a show that talked about the rebellion too. Mm-hmm. If you have any thoughts that you want to share with Mello Joe about what you are excited about for this new Cassian Andor series, make sure you comment down below. All right, so next question. This question comes from Average Calamities, which is our good friend Steve. He asks, do you think Disney is going to remove all of the Star Wars content from the other platforms like Netflix when they release their own streaming service? Could this be why they haven't released Rebels on Netflix? Jesse, what do you think?
100% yes. I think this coincides with the cancellation of some of the Marvel original
right, the
shows.
Daredevil's still on, but we've had Luke Cage canceled and Iron Fist.
So I think what that is that it's Disney kind of reeling it in. They're prepping for their streaming service to launch, and they're going to want their product on their service. So I think once the contracts run out on Netflix's right to have these on there, you'll see them pulled and put up onto.
I really think a
Onto the
lot of
streaming
this
service.
content is going to be released like weekly.
Yeah.
So like with Mandalorian, you'll get one new episode for 10 weeks because that's how they're going to keep you interested. Because
I don't like that.
but they're not going to have the content yet to fill up. We've talked about this before. If you have the Disney Plus cloud, okay, where they're going to store all their goodies, they're not a Netflix to where they have all the stuff that they can throw in there and then keep feeding new stuff every quarter, you know? Like, they don't have that. So they've got to keep you interested
And
somehow.
that's the strategy the DC Universe is taking right now, which is why I haven't given them my money. I'm going to wait until Christmas so I can watch all of Titans in one fell swoop.
Would you say that this is the best thing to do, though, if you're Disney, to pull that
no.
content off other platforms?
Jesse's 100% yes. I'm 100% no. If it were me, I would keep the first season of all of these shows on the Hulu, the Netflix, the Amazon Prime, because if you get bought into a show on the first season and you want more, well, then you need to come to my service in order to get the rest of the 6 seasons for that show.
Well, like the final season of Clone Wars, that's not going to end up on Netflix.
No.
That's going to end up on Disney streaming service. So I can see what you're saying, but I mean, it's just Disney. I mean, it's not just Star Wars that we're going to get on here. We're getting Disney movies. So
The animated stuff.
Lion King, Toy Story, like all that stuff. I can see that all popping up on here.
I hope they just unload the vault on that streaming
Pretty
service,
much.
honestly, because I want like the original Steamboat animations. That'd be fun.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think that they had my money with the final season of Clone Wars. I think they got my money for 2 years with The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I think with Cassian, I mean, they have my money. I think if you're a Star Wars fan, that streaming service is, well, Steve, I just think that you have to spend whatever price it's going to be able to get your fill, because that's where we're going to be getting our new stuff, our new Star Wars stories. Last question here for the FanCom link. We have, this is from Monica Jones. She asks,
Monica.
do you think we will get to see Rebels like Mandalorian character Sabine or Bo-Katan in the Cassian live-action show? So, for those of you who don't know, Bo-Katan is a character that was in Death Watch. You met her in the Clone Wars, and then she kind of reappears in Rebels, and she ends up being kind of a good person. Plot twist. Anyways, so, it would be maybe a lot of people are wondering, do you get to see Kira? Would you see Enfys Ness from Solo? Would you maybe see a Bo-Katan? Would you see a Sabine? David, what do you think?
I think we'll see some of these characters, but I don't think any of them are going to have necessarily a big role. We can see, starting with Clone Wars and then Rebels and then with this new Resistance, that we're seeing characters coming in and out, popping in for little things or inspirational moments for the main characters of the show itself. So I could see us having, maybe not Bo-Katan, but maybe Sabine popping in for some reason, just to say, hey, fight in the background, and then pop back out on another mission with Hera and her crew.
I think it'd be cool, but I don't know if it works. On the timeline, you have A New Hope, okay? So then you have Rebels, that's a couple years before that, okay? It seemed to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but my impression, Jesse, is that Sabine and this group of rebels they're on their own, and there were a couple times where the rebellion would kind of gather and people would mingle. They somehow met Leia. So I feel like if they're able to meet Leia, well, it maybe isn't too much of a stretch for Cassian Andor to be involved there too. Like, it doesn't seem like that far of a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm sorry, for Bo-Katan or for Sabine, because like there's been opportunities for them to mingle, and maybe Cassian is there on that. It's like a 10% chance. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. He don't seem very confident.
I mean,
I love when he leads a statement with It's the best.
So, I mean, obviously, Mandalorian characters, anytime I can see them, 100% yes. I don't know if they'll add Sabine in, because I feel like that would take away from Rebels on some level.
You just feel forced, if anything.
Yeah.
And wouldn't Bo-Katan just be so focused with what's going on in Mandalore that why would she even team up?
Like, it's just one of those one of those things, because the last time we see Bo-Katan is after Sabine gives up the Darksaber, and essentially Bo-Katan becomes Mandalore. So I would be interested to see, okay, what happens after that. We know there's like Mandalore's always got like heavy fighting going on, you know, but so it might be interesting to see like why maybe they give a reason why you didn't really hear so much about that, you know, like during the original trilogy timeline, you know, to kind of maybe precursor that to The Mandalorian, you know.
Interesting.
A little bit of a stretch there, but as much as I want to say yes, I don't think we'll see him.
So David thinks that it'd be fun. Jesse's like, it'd be cool, but like, does it really match up? I think I'm more in line with Jesse. I think it'd be great to see like a Bo-Katan pop up or a Sabine or any kind of Rebels character. I think that's more likely. I think you're likely to see someone from that Rebels era. I just don't know if it's going to be them, because for me, Bo would be focused on Mandalore, and Sabine, I think she would be so focused with the group, unless like they bump into each other when they're all, you know, because at times the rebellion would come together. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Saul Guerrero again.
Saw's popping up. That's got to be a given, right? Let us know what you think though in the comments below. Of all the characters, would you like to see them pop up in the series? But do you think Sabine and Bo-Katan will pop up in this Cassian Andor series? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, and so like that's the end of the show. I mean, that was pretty painless. I mean, painless in the sense that we're able just to sit here and talk about Star Wars. Wait, what did you say?
I'm in tons of pain. This chair is terrible.
Well, you're also not nourished, correct? We need to get you food. I'm feeling Taco Bell. But guys, I just want to say thank you so much. Always fun to gather around this table. Episode 48 is up next. Hopefully we have some new information on episode 9, maybe some casting news, who knows. It is the slow time, so if you would help us, send us your Star Wars questions. What are the questions on your mind right now with Star Wars? Let us know. I think it'd be fun, honestly, because we're in this lull. Just do an episode next week where it's all based around fan questions. That'd be really fun.
Could be a trivia. We could do a trivia night with it.
You want to do Star Wars trivia?
Yeah.
All right, maybe what we do is we do like a live stream.
That's what we did last time.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
just
if we're really
do the trivia.
If I heard correctly, there was a small chance of a Steve.
Maybe.
So we were going to try, okay, so we'll go ahead and address this. Steve Hyman, who's kind of like the fourth musketeer that you've just never seen. We're trying to get him on the show. We were going to try and have him call in. We were going to try and have him drive up. At one point, Jesse wasn't going to be able to work. We thought it would be perfect. Something happened with Steve's car. We didn't have the right piece that we thought we still had to let him call in. So, you know what? Either way, I think the goal is to have Steve on the show next week. And then maybe it's trivia and some fan submitted questions. Yeah. How's that sound?
Cool.
Yeah.
Jesse, David?
Yep.
You at home, listening and watching? Appreciate all of you. We'll see you soon. May the Force be with you.